Can a tax rate be so high that it is not acceptable? If so, name a tax rate so high that citizens would be under no moral obligation to pay it.
Ooh, okay.
2 minutes.
Can a tax rate be so high that it's not acceptable? Well, certainly. Certainly, it could be too high. I think if we were to look back at the years where we were most prosperous, right, the 50s and the 60s, when we had tax rates set that the wealthiest among us paid their fair share, look what it paid for. It paid for an international highway system, and roads and bridges and great schools and universities, and the GI Bill for the young men that were coming home from World War II, right? When we pay our fair share, when the wealthy of us pay our fair share, we do well as a nation. I don't know where we put the number, right? And I'd be more than happy to examine what the number should be. But right now, our system is set up so the wealthy don't really have to pay anything. I mean, regardless of who you're voting for president, we just heard Donald Trump admit last night that he took a $916 million loss, almost $1 billion, and doesn't pay federal taxes. We all have to pay federal taxes. It's what keeps the lights on in our government. So I think we need to do things like close the carried interest loophole, which allows different income to be taxed differently. I don't know about you, but all my income is taxed the same, right? It doesn't matter if it's a commission or if it's income and it's taxed the same. But apparently if you're a hedge fund manager, your income is taxed at lower tax rates, which saves you billions of dollars a year. That should be coming into our coffers to help pay for the things that we need to pay for as a federal government. So I am not advocating that we raise taxes on the middle class, certainly not advocating that we raise taxes on anybody earning under $225,000 a year, which is the gross majority of people that live in the 5th Congressional District. But for those that are doing really well, we should ensure that they're paying their fair share, because you and I both know that every one of us in this room, we write the check, and every American should. Thank you.
I think, although it's legal, it's just completely unacceptable to me that someone can avoid paying taxes just because they can afford an army of tax attorneys. I doubt if there's anybody in this room is in that situation that can afford an army of tax attorneys. But that's what we see today. And it's because we've used the tax code basically to social engineer this nation, and we pick winners and losers. And I think that's wrong. And it's time to simplify the tax code. I've personally supported that. Actually, I've worked in a bipartisan way. Last December, the president signed into law legislation that would make permanent deductibles for families. Family tax credit, education tax credit, and for small businesses that create jobs and provide the backbone of our economy. But there's a lot more that so can we set a rate that's so high that it's not acceptable or it's immoral? I think we're getting pretty close, to tell you the truth. We have the highest corporate tax rate in the world. You know, Japan was able and willing to do that at a time after they experienced a earthquake, a tsunami, and a nuclear meltdown. And they knew that in order to attract new businesses to their country, they needed to do something that was simpler, that was more competitive. People come, and we want people to come to our country. We have a lot of businesses, unfortunately, that have shipped their assets offshore because of our tax code. So we need to simplify. You know, I'd like to see something along the lines of about 15%. Bring it down, make it simpler, make it so that people like Warren Buffett are not able, no matter how many tax attorneys they hire, or Donald Trump, they're going to have to pay their fair share. Thank you.